you're watching GW News Recap. I'm your anchor, Asin Jamir, bringing to you the top stories of the week. Let's have a look at the headlines first. The NSC and GPR and Nikki has directed all nightclubs, bars, lounges and similar establishments to strictly prohibit the entry and entertainment of any person below the permissible age. Family members yesterday claimed the bodies of 2 children killed in a bomb attack at Chonglaubi in Bishnupur district of Manipur. The last remaining ethnic insurgent group of Mizoram laid down arms on April 30 and the state became insurgency-free, Chief Minister Lal Thoma said. The Election Commission of India has ordered a fresh election in all polling stations of the Falda Assembly constituency in South 24 Parganas district in West Bengal. And now the news in details. The NSC and GPR and Nikki has directed all nightclubs, bars, lounges and similar establishments to strictly prohibit the entry and entertainment of any person below the permissible age. According to a directive, the organization stated that owners, managers and staff must carefully verify the age of all customers by checking valid identification documents before granting entry or serving underage boys and girls, which it stated is a serious violation of law and will invite stringent action to the extent of imposing total closure of the establishment. Further, it has come to the notice of the Crime Control Cell, NSC and GBRN that some traders are tampering with the maximum retail price of goods and selling expired items to consumers. Such practices are illegal, unethical and pose serious risk to public health and consumer rights. It stated. The NSC and GPRN cautioned traders, shopkeepers and business establishments against altering, tampering or overcharging beyond the printed MRP of any product and selling of goods that have crossed the expiry date or are unfit for consumption for use. Any person or establishment found indulging in such malpractices shall be dealt with severe action as per the Yezapu of the NSC and GPRN, it added. Family members yesterday claimed the bodies of 2 children killed in a bomb attack at Chonglaubi in Bishnupur district of Manipur. The siblings were finally laid to rest after more than 3 weeks of waiting, mourning and unanswered questions. The grieving family of 2 minor victims that tore through their home in the early hours of April 7 claimed their bodies from the Reims mortuary. The funeral procession moved slowly through Imphal from the Reims mortuary across Chonglaubi, where mourners gathered in large numbers, their grief spilling into quiet tears and solemn prayers. The final rites were performed at Torpung, Lamtopung in Bishnupur district. The April 7 blast sparked immediate fury, accusing security forces of failing to protect civilians. Enraged residents stormed a nearby CRPF camp at Kelmon, vandalizing property and setting vehicles ablaze. The confrontation quickly escalated into violence, with CRPF personnel opening fire to disperse the crowd. 2 people were killed on the spot and another later succumbed to injuries, deepening the cycle of grief and anger. Earlier on April 24, the bodies of those killed in the clash were also claimed by their families and laid to rest. The Manipur government has since handed over the case to the National Investigation Agency, but for the families left behind, their want for truth and justice continues. The last remaining ethnic insurgent group of Mizoram laid down arms on April 30 and the state became insurgency-free, Chief Minister Lal Thoma said. Although it remained dormant for several years, a faction of the Mar People's Convention Democratic, headed by Lalning Dang, a Sanate, indulged in sporadic criminal activities at irregular intervals, officials said. The Sanate faction was considered the last surviving insurgent group in the northeastern state. The HPCD had been demanding an autonomous district council for the Mar community people under the 6th schedule of the constitution. A total of 43 cadres of the group, including Sanate, surrendered their weapons to the government during a homecoming and arms-laying ceremony at the Sisawang near as well during the day. The homecoming ceremony follows the peace accord signed between the Mizoram government and the HPCD on April 14, effectively marking the end of insurgency in the state. The National Investigation Agency on April 30 arrested a prime accused in the 2020 killing of a subdivisional police officer during an attack by suspected Kuki militants in Manipur. The arrested accused has been identified as Otkotang Paite, also known as Otang Paite, a resident of Moray in Tengnopol district. According to the NIA, the accused was involved in the conspiracy behind the attack carried out by suspected Kuki militants on a district police team at the playground on October 31, 2023, during the height of ethnic violence in the state. During the attack, Chingtam Ananda Kumar Singh, the STP of Moray, sustained a bullet injury to his stomach and later succumbed to his injuries. The case was initially registered by Moray Police and later taken over by the NIA in March 2024. Investigators stated that the conspiracy was aimed at spreading terror and escalating unrest in Manipur. Earlier this month, the NIA had also arrested another accused in the case, identified as Kamchindang Kangte. The investigation in the case is continuing. The Election Commission of India has ordered a fresh election in all polling stations of the Falda Assembly constituency in South 24 Parganas district in West Bengal. The repoll was ordered due to severe electoral offences and subversion of the democratic process on April 29 when voting in Falda was held in the second phase of the assembly elections. The Commission said repoll across all the booths, including auxiliary polling stations, will be held between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on May 21 under stringent security arrangements to ensure a free, fair and transparent exercise. Counting of votes for the constituency will take place on May 24 and is the official set. The two-phase assembly polls were held on April 23 and 29 with counting of votes scheduled for May 4. Falda drew attention before the second phase of polling due to a standoff between its appointed special police observer Ajay Bal Sharma and Trinamool Congress candidate Jahangir Khan. On polling day, EVM tampering allegations led to petitions for a repoll and subsequent commission scrutiny. Falda was among the key constituencies in South 24 Parganas with the most complaints seeking a repoll. The Commission in its order said it had carefully examined reports submitted by the Chief Electoral Officer, District Election Officer, Returning Officer and other field functionaries along with inputs from observers and available material on record before arriving at a decision. The poll panel has directed authorities to make all necessary arrangements including deployment of adequate central forces, micro-observers and webcasting facilities wherever required to prevent any recurrence of malpractice. The Indian government has drawn a firm deadline to bring lasting peace to its troubled northeast region, with 2029 set as a target year to decisively end decades-long insurgency. Manipur, which has been epicenter of ethnic violence and armed conflict, has been identified as a priority in this ambitious security overhaul. Senior government officials indicated that a structured phase approach is being adopted, one that combines intensified counter-insurgency operations with renewed push for peace talks and socio-economic development. Center is looking to redeploy forces that have been operating in the left-wing extremism-affected regions, channeling them instead toward insurgency-hit northeastern states such as Manipur, Assam, Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland, with the overall mission set to be accomplished by 2029. According to the report, this realignment of central armed police forces is expected to get underway once the ongoing West Bengal Assembly elections have concluded. Manipur's selection as the first focus area comes as no surprise. The state has endured over 2 years of devastating ethnic clashes between the Meitei and Kuki communities, leaving hundreds dead and tens of thousands displaced. Armed groups continue to operate in the hill districts, complicating both civilian life and governance. Security forces have ramped up operations in recent months, conducting targeting drives against the militant hideouts along the Myanmar border. Officials believe that resolving Manipur's crisis could serve as a template for the broader northeast states like Nagaland, Assam and Manipur's hill districts have long harbored armed outfits, many of which have been engaged in fragile ceasefire agreements that have been yielded limited results. The 2029 call signals a shift from an open-ended engagement to a time-bound political and military resolution. 14 members of Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps were killed and 2 others injured in an explosion while carrying out ordnance clearance operations in northwestern Iran. The incident occurred in Zanjan province when exploded ordnance detonated during a specialized clearance mission. The personnel were part of a unit assigned to remove and neutralize leftover munitions in the area, which local authorities say has posed a continuing safety threat to civilians and farmland, where the region has approximately 1,200 hectares of agricultural land at risk due to the presence of unexploded ordnance. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said the Trump administration shifted from the strategy of managing the world's energy to disruption, and Iran has now become the center of the coalition against disruption. The IRGC said the disruption project was launched by the US to contain China, Russia, and Europe. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump on Friday expressed dissatisfaction with Iran's latest proposal aimed at ending the ongoing conflict, while also casting doubt on whether a final agreement can be reached. The US president also pointed to internal divisions within Iran's leadership, suggesting that disunity could be affecting the negotiation process. His remarks come after Iran submitted its latest proposal aimed at advancing negotiations to end the ongoing West Asia conflict with the US in response to recent amendments introduced by Washington to a draft plan aimed at ending the conflict. Well, that's it for this week's news recap, and for more news like this, you stay connected to Global Window.